today on Divorce Court.
I'm his first girlfriend. He's never been in a committed relationship, so I don't think he understands how to be.
We argue about me and my band.
When Joe drinks when he's at his gigs, it makes me feel very disrespected.
I come second to her phone every time.
He is on his phone just as much, and he's on dating apps.
I love Erinn to death. I'm not cheating on her. I've been trying to get things straight with her.
I want to be with Joe, and if he can tell me the truth, then we'll start new and we'll be okay.
We need to start working things out as a couple, because if not, it is the last straw. I'm tired of it.
I need for him to be honest with me about whether or not he wants to be with me or everyone else.
Divorce Court is now in session.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Erinn Malloy and Joe Edwards. Ms. Malloy, you're 20. Mr. Edwards, you are 22. You are here on the Before the Vows. You have filled out my compatibility test, and I have your license with permission to tear it up should I think your union is ill-advised. But you want my second set of eyes looking at your relationship to determine whether or not you should actually make it down the aisle. So, Ms. Malloy, I'm going to start with you. I know you love him, but what's concerning you at this juncture?
Well, I feel like there's things that I don't know, and I feel like, I just have this gut feeling that there's stuff that's not come to light yet, and I'd like to get to the bottom of it.
Now, that's very vague, Ms. Malloy. What things do you think need to come to light?
I feel like Joe's cheated on me, and I feel like there's other girls in the picture.
I take it she's expressed this to you on occasion.
A little bit.
Okay. Now, Mr. Edwards.
Yes, ma'am.
Now's the time. Has there ever been any infidelity during the course of your relationship?
No, ma'am.
Nothing?
No, ma'am.
Not a little bit?
No, ma'am.
What makes you believe that he has cheated?
Well, I have this, and this is from his email. It's messages from a dating website. He claims that it's not active, but if it's not active, why are you still getting emails?
Oh, okay, I got you. Emails and date, July, What's this about?
I've had that since 2013, Your Honor. That's been way before I met Erinn. I just have never had the time to delete it.
Never had time to delete it.
Right.
Ms. Malloy, you also say, though, that you have an issue with how much he drinks and the fact that you used to have issues and you don't think he respects your sobriety. Why don't you tell me how that's impacting your relationship?
Well, Your Honor, in October of 2016, I had to go to rehab. One of my ex-boyfriends, we kind of delved into a lifestyle that was not good. Mm-hmm. And I've gotten clean.
Good for you. Good for you.
And me and Joe, we've made an agreement that neither one of us would do anything.
Right.
And I've let it go, and I've let it go, and I've let it go. And he still does it.
And when you say it, what is he doing?
We've agreed that neither one of us should drink or do any type of drugs. And while he doesn't do any type of drugs, he still drinks.
How much does he drink and how often?
I mean, it's not a lot and it's not very often, but like he's a musician. Mm-hmm. He goes to shows, and I understand, you want to have a drink to loosen you up before you perform live, but whenever you drink so much that I'm waiting for you outside the bar and you're telling me that I can wait while you talk to another girl because you're so drunk, and then you're accusing me of like sleeping with people to get drugs and all kinds of stuff and just like calling me all kinds of names, it's too far.
Is that something he does when he's drunk, is calls you names and accuses you of cheating? Now, Mr. Edwards, I'm gonna start fresh over here. Do you drink alcohol?
Yes, ma'am.
It's perfectly legal.
Yes, ma'am.
How often do you drink?
I'd say within a case every 2 weeks.
A case of beer every 2 weeks?
Yeah, between that, just a beer here and there.
Do you drink to the point where you're intoxicated, or are you just a little tipsy?
Pretty intoxicated, Your Honor.
Pretty intoxicated.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you deny being somewhat unpleasant when you are inebriated?
No, ma'am. Honestly, I do. I kind of, honestly, the taste of alcohol tastes pretty good to me, and sometimes one's too many and one more's never enough.
Do you not deny that you agreed with her that as a part of her ongoing sobriety that neither one of you would indulge in any kind of intoxicants of any variety?
Honestly, Your Honor.
You don't remember that conversation?
I don't remember that conversation.
Okay. Do you understand her point of view?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Do you care?
Yes, until I start drinking.
Does that ever prevent you from drinking? The fact that you know when you get drunk, you can be ugly and a bit belligerent?
Yes, ma'am. It's helped me cut back a lot.
It's helped you cut back?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think is the main stumbling block to marriage? She thinks a lot of it is, one, that you're cheating, and two, that you don't respect her sobriety. What do you think the problem is?
My problem is it's about communication. And on my part, honestly, communication just doesn't work between us. It's all about social media. She cannot get away from that cell phone for not even 10 minutes, maybe 5 if you're lucky.
You're just as bad as me.
Do it just to show you what it feels like.
Now, when you say social media, is she just on it all day? Do you think she's talking to other guys, or she's just preoccupied with it?
A little bit of both, because it's like I go to work and I leave for work at 3:30 in the morning, and I'm going all day, and sometimes I work 13, 14-hour shifts. And when I come home, you know, she's still on her cell phone. And honestly, I look at it like, you know, why are you still on your phone? I'm home from work. Don't you want to spend time with me? But honestly, I feel like she might be talking to other guys, but it's just...
It's just too much.
Right.
Now, when he comes home, do you give him the time of day, or are you all involved in that electronic life?
Whenever he's not playing his video games, as soon as he walks in the door, yeah, I'm giving him the time of day. He wants to say that because he'll come home and he says, I want to decompress. I want to, you know, play my game, play my guitar, whatever. And then, whenever I'm sitting there on my phone, I'll be watching him do whatever he's gonna do, and then I'll get on my phone, because why am I just gonna sit here and watch what you're doing? Like,
Right.
Then it's a problem, because I'm not watching him, but you're either sleeping, playing your guitar, or playing your video games. Like, there is no reason.
When I've always interested, you come home, you need to decompress. Isn't coming home to your woman and talking to her and touching her and doing all that kind of stuff, isn't that a form of decompression?
Well, yes, ma'am, and I try to, and see, from her part, that's one thing, she's on their phone. So, okay, well, you're on your phone, well, you don't want to talk, I understand. I'm actually going to decompress, play my games a little bit.
So we got the chicken and the egg, you know, who started what first?
Right, so she'll be on her phone, I'll go play my game, and then 5 minutes later, oh, she wants to give me attention. It wants to be all over Joe, you know. Well, where was that when I go out in the door? Hey, honey, you know, how was your day? None of that.
My understanding is, Ms. Malloy, you believe that he has humiliated you in public. And I want to get down to the issue, what happened, why it happened, and then get Mr. Edwards' point of view on it. Do you think she's overly jealous?
A little bit. This female I walked up to the bartender was like, oh, who's that guy on the guitar? And she was on the verge of actually going after that girl and like getting ready to light into her. And that was...
That girl came up to you after the show and was like all over you, and you said not one word about it, so I don't want to hear nothing.
So, Ms. Malloy, how did he humiliate you in public?
Basically, like I said, Joe plays music, and he has fans, but there's fans, and then there's groupies. Mm-hmm. There's, you know, the girls that are like, you know, I really liked your music, you know, like you did really good on that set. And then there's the girls that are like, I like you and your music. Mm-hmm. Let's talk all night long. Mm-hmm. And then
does he entertain that second set of girls? That's the question. Because anybody in public life is going to have fans and groupies, and you can't stop that, because that's just part of being a public figure. The question is the extent to which he entertains that. Does he entertain it?
Not usually, but there was one instance that I was picking him up from a set one night, because I don't go to the bars because I don't want temptation.
Right.
And he's outside talking to this girl.
Yeah.
And I honk the horn, because I'm not trying to get out. I'm not trying to be around those that
life,
people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, you can wait. And he is talking to this girl and like laughing with her, and she's like touching him on the arm and stuff. And I'm
so
like,
it looked flirtatious right in front of you.
Yes. And granted, he was very, very intoxicated, but still.
Yeah.
I mean, that bothered anybody.
Do you deny that occurred?
In my defense, Your Honor, there was actually a guy there too, and we were talking about certain songs we played, you know, and how well, you know, I put them off on us as if it was, you know, the original band. And that female happened to have been there too, but it was nothing directed toward me as far as like, oh, you know, you're just, I could just eat you up, I want to go home with you,
It wasn't like that. It wasn't that deep.
Musician's entertainer. You like to entertain. You like people to hear what you do.
Yeah. Do you think she's overly jealous?
A little bit.
What are some of the most outrageous things she's done?
Well, this is kind of understandable, but then again, it's like, really? Because I played a show one night, and she happened to have been standing there beside the bar, and this female had walked up to the bartender and was like, oh, who's that guy on the guitar? And she was on the verge of actually going after that girl and like getting ready to light into her. And that was... Yeah.
That girl came up to you after the show and was like all over you, and you said not one word about it, so I don't want to hear nothing.
I wasn't hugging on her or nothing.
Was he just ignoring her, or was he enjoying it? What was happening?
Like, she's over here touching on him and is like, you know, you do really good. She's like, and I'm like, she's like complimenting his clothes and all kinds of stuff, and I'm sitting back watching this. I'm like, are you serious right now?
What would have been the response you would have liked?
A handshake. And, you know, thanks for being a fan, like, this is where we're playing next, that kind of thing. Not like, okay, let me go ahead and, like, hug you back. Like, you're not that big, you're a local star. Like, you're not, like, I just don't think that it's okay.
Yeah, you and I gonna have to have a talk about the life of a person in some kind of spotlight and the difference between just, you know, riding out a fan and engaging in illicit conduct. But my understanding is that the real concern that you have is about someone closer to home that might be an issue with him. And I do have some information that you might want to see regarding this particular individual. And that's what we're gonna do next.
Honestly, Your Honor, I mean, it's nobody's fault but my own. I mean, I drank too much that night, and I apologize for that. But if we did, I don't remember.
Really?
Other than what you've told me about, do you have concerns about a particular woman that he might be seeing?
I have a girl who, I mean, depending on how this is gonna go, I thought she was my best friend. And Easter weekend of this year, Joe was nowhere to be found. And then about a week later, we were having, I don't even remember what me and Joe were talking about, but he was like, oh yeah, that's whenever Desiree was in town. And I was like, what? Like, my best friend didn't tell me she was in town? Whoa. And why do you know that? And and it's like she won't really talk to me, and it's...
Well, she does want to talk to you. She couldn't get off work today, but she did send us a tape. I haven't seen it, so this is what she wants to tell you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Desiree. I am 21 years old, and Erinn is my best friend. Erinn, I have something that I needed to tell you, and I felt awful about it since it happened, and I really hope me and you can move past it. But when I was home for Easter, me and Joe slept together.
Are you kidding me?
It didn't mean anything.
Mr. Edwards, is Desiree telling the truth?
And I want you and Joe to be able to move past it. Call me if you have the chance.
If we did, I don't remember.
Seriously?
Life of a rock star, Your Honor.
Is your drinking habit so take you to places that are, I mean, do you black out that you could actually have had sex with someone and didn't remember?
Sometimes. I didn't think it would happen like that, but, you know, just alcohol changes a man. Life of a
But
rock
it's
star,
not
Honor.
outside of the realm of possibility, is what you're telling me.
Right.
Is there something you want to say or do at this particular juncture? I'll be quiet.
Well, I can actually get help, quit drinking for good. I'm willing to do that. But I mean, honestly, in this case, I mean, you're so caught up in social media, and you don't give enough attention or want to be communicative enough. So I mean, it's.
So instead of saying anything,
I tried. You want to argue?
You go and sleep with my best friend.
I tried, and you want to argue. That's all you want to do.
Mr. Edwards, that's not at all what I had in mind. You love this woman, do you not?
Yes, ma'am.
You're here on the before the vows, are you not?
Yes, ma'am.
You're trying to make a determination as to whether or not you guys should spend the rest of your life together. You get caught messing with her best friend, and you go over there and complain about social media. I'm gonna give you one more time not to look like a jerk. Turn around and say something.
I apologize. I'm sorry, like, dearly.
You really think it's her fault, though, don't you?
Honestly, Your Honor, I mean, it's nobody's fault but my own. I mean, I drank too much that night, and I apologize for that. But like I said, in this case, it's man. Sometimes a man has needs, and a man that wants more than just sex, and he wants to be communicative with.
You
his
want
woman.
more than just sex, so you go and sleep with my best friend.
Well, you
Do
stay
you
on your phone.
realize how dumb that sounds?
Okay, well, I get up and go to work at 3:30 in the morning, but I wake up and you're still on your phone at 2:45 in the morning, and you tell me you're Googling how to turn an outside cat into an inside cat? Really?
You want to check
How are you
the
going to Google that at
history?
2:45 in the morning when you should be asleep? Why are you,
Normally, at this time, I would ask for a professional love, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna look at the compatibility test. I'm gonna talk to you, and then I'm gonna talk to you. And then I want everybody to hear exactly what I got to say. I've got this word in my head. It starts with an R, it ends with an N, and it has you in the middle. Run. He does not support your sobriety. He is drunk. He had sex with your best friend. He can't even keep it together enough to do his illicit activities outside of a place that would tear your heart apart because it's the one person above all whom you are close to. Now, you need to revisit that friendship as well, but you need to run. He blames you for him sleeping with your best friend. He can't see far enough past his own wants and needs to say, man, it was a horrible thing to do. I broke her heart, made her lose a friendship. He stood in this courtroom and talked about you on a telephone after hearing damning information about an inconceivable act of infidelity that he has inflicted upon you. I said it before and I'm gonna say it again, run. You need to be a better person. You're over there, you ain't got no communication, you don't have anything to say. This is the life of a rock star. You're not Mick Jagger. You're this guy, a 22-year-old guy, drinks too much, sleeps with his woman's friend, and doesn't have enough dignity or sense to honor what this woman has been through, to honor the promise you made to her, because I believe you made it that you were going to enter into sobriety with her, and then you do the ultimate betrayal, and the best thing you got to say is, she's on her phone too much. She's on her phone because she ain't got anybody to talk to. She's on her phone because there's less of a man standing next to her. She's on her phone to do something other than bother with some guy who's drunk and flirting and carrying on and doesn't have the dignity or the class not to touch one of her friends. That's why she's on her phone. Stay on the phone until you find a real man, and when you find a real man, put the phone down and deal with him. This matter is adjourned.
What happened today is horrible. I just found out the person that I'm in love with doesn't care. He doesn't want to be with me. But at least I know, maybe we could move forward, but I don't know.